In this video, I'll be doing my diesel maintenance vlog for my 2019 6.7 PowerStroke. In this video, we'll be discussing the maintenance I performed, any modifications that I made to the truck, and the miles I drove in the month of March. Thankfully, after all the maintenance that we did in January and February with my brother Oliver, the month of March was much kinder in terms of maintenance expenses. So first thing, on the 11th of March, I did an oil change and changed the filter. I rotated my tires, greased the front end. I installed the Banks iDash, which has been awesome. I also, on the 11th, went around and retorqued the shock bolts because I had changed my shocks, and I just got my torque wrench, found the Ford spec in a forum and checked them. And some of them definitely weren't loose, but had not been at spec. So I just like to recheck them because sometimes they'll shift. I also had to do the alignment procedure on the power steps I have. So if you didn't catch that video, I will link to it below, but essentially I got these Boost Auto steps, power deployable running boards, super good build quality, but they had been rattling when I went over potholes or took the truck off-road. And so when I went to them, they actually had a solution right away. They were like, yeah, common problem. You just need the boards to settle more. So there's an alignment procedure you use to actually unbolt all the boards, then open and close the doors to kind of get the board to flex and settle, and then retighten the bolts, and that fixed my issue. On March 16th, I took my front wheels off and I washed the entire underside of my truck with Salts Gone. I forget which one of you it was that recommended this, but like making sure to spray inside the frame, not just on the frame, because it's, you know, kind of the hollow tube frame. And then I also replaced my front left 4x4 vacuum hose because I was having trouble getting the front driver's side hub to engage, and so it was just making like a grinding noise. And I've already replaced my hubs once. I did it at about 140K, I think, but I know it was kind of a, you know, it was a cheap repair. It was like $7 for the hose and the little valve stem, and I just did it, I don't know, in kind of the vain hope that that would make the vacuum work better. But on these trucks, the 4x4 vacuum, like shift on the fly, is garbage. So I think next time I do my hubs, I'm just gonna switch to the Warn manual locking hubs and just cap off the vacuum lines and just forget about it, because the 4x4 works way better when you just manually turn the hubs. If you enjoy my monthly maintenance vlogs or find them helpful, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Also, if you're interested, I have these t-shirts at PowerStrokeMaintenance.com, and I will link to them below. On March 25th, I did my sway bar. I replaced the end links and the sway bar bushings. So I had been running OEM F250 sway bar, and it saw in a forum somewhere that you could essentially soften your front end by going to a tremor sway bar. So I have another video on that I did that came out where, you know, we tested whether or not that was true. I got some interesting comments. I think my truck, it does have a snowplow prep package, so perhaps changing just the sway bar wouldn't make that big of a difference. I didn't really notice a difference, and I actually, when I did the test, turned sideways across a water bar where one tire would be elevated, and you can see in the slow motion the cab rocks basically the same for both sway bars. I think the tremor sway bar is just lighter, and it's, you know, tubular instead of it being like a solid metal piece. So yeah, I did that. And while I was under there, I replaced the sway bar end links just with more OEM. Someone had mentioned that PMF, I think it was, has like these Heim joint ones, so I might try those and then redo the test. And, you know, because maybe the OEM ones, because it's like a ball and socket combo, they're more apt to bind, but that's something we can test to see if it actually makes a real difference. So all in all, pretty light on maintenance, except for doing the sway bar things. I only had 3 specific sessions that I had to work on the truck. Was able to do some fun mods. The Banks iDash is super fun. The rest of the stuff was just maintenance related. Doing the tremor sway bar upgrade was, you know, kind of fun. It was $100 for the bar, so it wasn't super expensive. And for mileage, we are at 207,311 miles, which means I've driven about 2,513 miles since my February update. Thank you for watching this video and for spending time on my channel, where the goal is to put as many miles as I can on this truck with zero experience as a mechanic. We'll see how it goes. Cheers.